Sup nerds, Wired here, and welcome to the Dragon Age 2 Rogue Guide, build guide actually. This was requested by quite a few people on the channel, so I have it ready to go. I'm actually doing two builds for you guys. This build, however, is called my Illusionist build, as it pretty much focuses on helping out the party and also keeping everyone in the party covered in smoke. It's a great assist and support build, but also a great main damage dealer. Really does push out the crit damage to the limit. I am doing two builds, like I said. However, they are both dual wield builds, so please, if you are an archer, I apologize. There is no build for you. I didn't play archery long enough to test anything, so archer is out of the question. However, if you are someone who's very vigilant in their beliefs and would like to see an archer build, please send me a well-worded private message or comment on my channel. With as much ask history and brown nosery as you possibly can fit in a few paragraphs, or one paragraph for that matter. It just better be friggin' good, because it has to make me want to actually turn this game on and play test things, which is that's just asking a lot at this point. Okay, so if you guys wanted to know where this build comes from, this build is best known on my Rogue playthrough as the one I played for the later half of the game. It was very dominant, does very, very high damage, and has no issues with any of the bosses in the game, including the High Dragon. It killed the High Dragon insanely quick and insanely easy. The only problem with this build is it is what we call a glass cannon. If you don't use your abilities right, you will die. If you don't know what you're doing, you will die. This is one of the more micromanage rogue builds in the game, so those of you who don't want to actually spend time monitoring stuff on your whole party, then please skip on this build. The next build I'm going to be doing is way better for you. You'll appreciate that one way more. Okay, so let's get started with the attributes as the first things first. I will be doing all attributes up to level 22 this time, because this build stops and ends and reaches its max, pretty much, at level 22. I will also take a note here that Varric is not in your party in this one, so I will be doing another video just for rogues, companion abilities, and tactics, so please give me time to do that. I am still working out what I think is optimal right now. That will be posted as soon as I feel like it is ready for internet approval, or pretty much other people's eyes. It's kind of top secret, Area 51 type of shit. Okay, so let's get started with the basics here. This character build is what we would call very one-dimensional as far as attributes go, because we're only going to be buffing dexterity and cunning the entire game. Okay, in case you didn't hear me the first time. Dexterity and cunning the entire game. Now listen, you are going to have extra points here. If you feel you're dying too much, dump some shit into Constitution. It's fine. You can always respec later when you get your Valiance rune. And then just get rid of the Constitution and put it back into your DPS stats. If you feel like you have... Because, look at your health is going to be 125 for a majority of the game. However, you will be using items and stuff. I suggest to boost your health a little bit. That means get items that give you health plus physical damage, or health and crit chance, things like that. That would be your best bet. At the max levels, however, once you get the Valiance rune, you'll have 17 base Constitution, around 200 something health. That will be fine. You will not be getting hit on this build, so you should not have to worry about it much, especially not from melee attacks. However, like I said, this is an optimal build. This is definitely a build that lives life on the edge. However, it's less of a edge liver as my next build. My next build is pretty much as far to the edge as you can go without falling off. But these are the best rogue builds you can get, though, if you think about it. Rogues have to give up defense and life for the ability to kill, especially when you are the main damager. Like the Berserker, he has to give up defense to kill. So, let's get started with this build, and I'll stop talking about the nonsense. Okay, let me turn on my controller here, because we've been talking that long, it's actually turned itself off. Okay. We're going to go level by level up to 22. Remember, all bonus points, torpor, attribute tomes, all that other stuff. The puzzles in the Fade, things like that. None of these are included in this build, So you're going to have around 19 to 21 extra points to play with. Please do with them as you like. If you want maximum damage, put them all into cunning and never go over 42 dexterity. We will have a 100% critical chance at the end of this build, I promise you. So even with only low dexterity of 42, with the Valiance Rune and things like that, everything will work out to 100% crit chance natural. That's natural crit chance, or really, really close to that, depending on how much money you spend. Okay, so let's just get right into it because I'm tired of talking now. Alright, as you start, all these stats are expected to be at a Maker's Psi Potion at least level 5. Please follow this build at level 5 or higher. After using a Maker's Psi Potion, or your stats will not match up with mine. They will also not match up with mine if you have bonus stats, obviously. I have a lot of bonus stats, but I'm not going to be using them. We're going to be using 65 stats total out of the 81 available right now. Okay, so let's get started. First level, always 3 dex. 3 dex, that means you are now level 2. So you want to go 3 dex from level 1 to 2. Now from 2 to 3, 3 more dex. At level 3, now we want to get to level 4. We're going to go 3 cunning to 15. 3 more cunning to 18, the next level. We're going to max dexterity to 20 and cunning to 20 and match them up. This lets you use the Sir Isaac armor completely if you have it. If you do not have it, this is just a good thing. We want cunning to always be higher than dex most of the time. However, we are going to boost dex up early for the damage. It is worth it early, but you know what? 1 damage tapers off toward the end game, so that's why it's better to just start buffing cunning toward the end of the game. Because critical damage plus 10% is better than 1 damage on your melee attacks. Okay, from there, we're going to be level 7. We'll be level 7, and we're going to buff our dex again to 23. At level 8, we're going to buff our dex again to 26. At level 9, we're going to buff our cunning 3 to 23. And at level 10, we're going to go 2 dex to 28 and 1 cunning to 24. At level 11, I keep buffing dexterity to 31. And at level 12, I go all cunning to 27. And level 13, I go all cunning to 30. This allows you to open every chest in Act 2. And also is great because as soon as you start, you'll have 2 chests to open up in the Viscount's Keep. So this is always a good bet, 30 cunning by the beginning of Act 2. Remember, you will reach 13 if you have done everything in the game up to the point of the Rockwraith Golem fight. You should get it after that or shortly before that, depending on how you've been playing. Alright, next up we hit 14. We're going to buff dex again to 34. At 15, we're going to buff cunning to 33. I actually have all this written down because it's very hard to remember, guys. So if you hear me like tapering off a little bit, it's because I'm referring to the notepad document I have open that has all the stats and what levels I use to increase them. I lost my place. Hold on. Okay. At level 16, we go to 37 dex. At level 17, 3 more dex to 40. At level 18, we're going to get 2 dex to 42 and the rest in the cunning. And then 19, all cunning. 20, all cunning. 21, all cunning. And 22, all cunning. So your stats should look like this endgame. That's without stat boosts. With the Valiance Rune, they were obviously going to be higher. You don't have to worry about having the cunning earlier to open chests in Act 3 because you should be getting the Valiance Runes extremely early into it. You should go right to Sundermount and then you should go kill the High Dragon. The High Dragon is not hard. Please follow my guide if you need help with him. As the rogue, be sure to probably get some fire resistance gear for him because you will have such low life. But you should be able to have an easy time with him with Aveline tanking, especially if you are using these stealth abilities that I'm going to give you. As I said, you can have a bonus of at least 21 points. As you can see, I only have 18. I must have missed something. But like I said, this was my rogue on my first playthrough. Please just put the rest of your points into cunning, however many you get. it's worth it. Okay, so let's do abilities, the most important thing, and what basically runs your entire rogue. Okay, so like I said before, make sure you use a respec potion at the early of the game, and you use it at least level 5 to follow this guide. Okay, as soon as you level up at level 2, we're going to get Unforgiving Chain, and you will have an extra stat point at level 2, I want to say, 3 or whatever. Just get Backstab with that if you do have it. If you don't have the extra stat point because of the glitch, then just get Backstab at level... Nah, you should have it. It should look like this. You should have Backstab, Unforgiving Chain. You're now level 3. Once you hit level 3, we're going to get out of here. And we're going to get this. We're going to get Stealth. Stealth is going to be your best friend for most of the game. When you use Stealth, all enemies will immediately stop attacking you, and you lose all threat. So that means if you are tanking 5 enemies at once, you use Stealth, they'll all leave you alone. That's perfect. However, it does not work that well against ranged characters. I've found that if you Stealth while a ranged guy, like an archer, is shooting you, he will not stop shooting you even though you were in Stealth. That's a stupid-ass glitch, but what are you going to do? Alright, now we're level 4. We're going to get Explosive Strike. This is one of the best abilities in the tree for dual wield. This thing is going to throttle some damage for you up and up and up like crazy. Because Staggered is something that is so common in the game. At level 5, we're going to get Speed. We want to get our attack speed up as much as we can. That's the whole point of this build. Attacking fast, dealing heavy damage very quickly. Obviously, at 6, we're going to get my favorite ability for rogues, Blindside. You really can't go wrong with this. 20% damage boost for anything not attacking you. Just perfectly great. Awesome. Especially for this build, which is going to be doing crazy critical damage. At 7, we're going to take our first specialization, which is Assassino, if you played Assassin's Creed, and Mark of Death. At level 8, we're going to get Merciless Strike in the dual wield tree. And also, we're going to get Twin Fangs by using the Tome of Physical Technique, the first one in the game. Remember, this is level 8. You can get that at either Hubert's Fine Goods or the Black Emporium. Whichever you choose is fine. Just make sure you have enough money, you broke-ass piece of shit. Make sure you have enough. That means you, Octopus, better have enough money. Alright, at level 9, we're going to go back to the Assassin Tree, and we're going to get Bloodlust. And at level 10, we're going to get Reversed Grip in the dual wield tree. This lowers the cooldown of Twin Fangs by 10 seconds. It is just good. I say it's just good because sometimes you're not going to use it. It's good for boss fights. At level 11, we're going to go back to the Assassino tree and get the Pinpoint Strikes. Level 12, we're going to go back to the Assassinate tree and get the key ability, Assassinate. And at level 13, we're going to get Annihilate. I know you thought I was going to get Devious Harm immediately. No, not quite. At level 14, we're going to take our second specialization. Boop. And we're going to go back to the Assassin tree. We're going to get Devious Harm. And Mark of Doom. Use your second physical technique tome. I suggest getting Hubert's in Act 1 and getting this one from the Black Emporium in Act 2. Or, of course, Eiler's Crafts in Sundermount. Whichever in Act 2 is fine. So at level 14, our skills should look like this. At level 15... we're going to get Enduring Mark. And at level 16, we're going to get Overkill. So far, we're pretty much just an assassination rogue. This is a high damage dealer. That's pretty much all you're doing right now is dealing high damage. Okay, and at level 17, we're finally going to start using our abilities in the Shadow Tree. The first one to get is Pinpoint Precision. Next up, we go back to the Subterfuge tree where we got our stealth ability. We're going to get Evade, and then after Evade, we're going to get Chameleon's Breath the next level. Or you can get Evade and Chameleon's Breath with your third Tome of Physical Technique. I suggest doing it that way. This actually gives us the obscure abilities that are going to allow us to throttle our damage like crazy. At level 19, we're going to get our best ability for right now, Disorienting Criticals. This lets us deal 25% more damage while obscured. And at level 20, I like to get the finisher for Chameleon's Cloud. At level 21, you should be able to get to this level with the Elixir of Heroism. We're going to get Miasmic Flask. At level 22, we're going to get the Rush ability. At level 23, we're going to get Fatiguing Fog. And your final level should be around 24. This is going to be end game. You should get that. As you see, I have extra abilities. That is the Maker Psi glitch. You can use them in your favor, or you can choose to play legitimately and not. So you might be able to finish this build as early as level 20. However, I'm not cheating, so I'm just going to use the ones we've had. So endgame build at level 23 should look quite like this. We'll go over it one more time. Here's your dual wheel tree at level 23. Here's your subterfuge tree at level 23. Or sabotage, pardon me. Specialist, blindside, stealth, evade, and Chameleon's Breath to obscure your whole party. Just the two things that buff your obscure damage and the critical damage bonus, 25%. Duelist is empty. Devious Harm. We're maximizing our assassination damage. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is my Master Illusionist build. We're going to really quickly spend the points that I have left over just on anything right now because I want to show you what this build can do. Okay. Don't worry about all that shit. I use the low blade and finesse. However, if you've liked the Carter's blades, those are good too. However, I use the low blade and finesse because they do more damage. Obviously, I use all the champion vestments without taking them off, however. I use Four-Fingered Louie's Talisman or Eddie's Talisman. The Etch Ring of the Twins, of course, for the immunity to knockback. This will help your character immensely. And you can use either, depending on how much money you have left over, you can buy the other Strength Ring, but I don't suggest doing that. Just use one of these random rings here, like Three Wolf Boon is perfect for what you want to do. And of course, the 7 Deadly Cinch, the best belt in the game for any melee class. And that's pretty much it, guys. So let's see our endgame character stats. Character attributes. Okay, so endgame, we're going to be doing 290% critical damage. Our critical chance is 77% base. That will increase if you are using the specialist abilities I just showed you. It will increase by another 10%, making you have 87% natural crit chance. And that does not factor in the buffs that you get from Anders, who gives you an extra 10% crit chance with Heroic Aura. Yay! See, it's all fun for the whole family. So in the end, you will have a base 97% critical chance. You will have a 290% base critical damage bonus. That does not include the extra percentage you get from being obscured, and the 20% bonus just from being not the target of the thing you're killing. So please take an advantage that you will be doing over 325% critical damage bonus as this build, meaning you will be doing basic melee attacks for what most people will be mighty blowing for, and you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. What can I say other than that? Because I do it myself. Like I said, if you find yourself dying too much, it's probably your own fault, but you should probably buff up Constitutional more. Like, no, I'd probably put... You could take endgame cunning, take a little bit out of cunning. I hate doing it, but what are you going to do? And putting it into Constitution. Or you can actually trick dexterity. But like I said, I don't suggest losing any of your stats, but whatever you want to do is up to you. Of course, this concludes our endgame rogue build as the Master of Illusion. An extremely high damage dealing character with plenty of defensive options with stealth and obscurity. He can obscure his whole party, which pretty much makes most of you guys unhittable to melee attacks. So please, thank you for watching. And of course, I'm The Wired. And if you love robots like I love robots, then you should definitely subscribe to my channel.